Last week I released a video talking about 5 things that I'm excited for about Star Wars Outlaws, and even though that hasn't got a huge amount of views for most people, for me it's on about 900, which I'm really happy with, but it's still managed to bring out some really weird people, honestly, into the comments, saying that I've been paid by Ubisoft to say these things. Other people have commented on it stating their reasons for excitement about the game, and then people have been commenting in response to those comments saying that they've been paid by Ubisoft to say it, which is really bizarre. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, but then also just some honest opinions, because I'm just fed up of the child mob-like mentality surrounding Star Wars and games, to be honest. It really is frustrating. Like, this whole thing about people being a shill, or being paid to say something, or having their opinions skewed, this, that, and the other, it's just so boring now. Like, I personally have not been paid by Ubisoft to say anything. I've not been flown out by Ubisoft to go and play the game early or anything like that. So I have absolutely zero reasons to have a skewed opinion whatsoever. So all of my excitement has genuinely come from everything I've seen thus far. And Star Wars Outlaws being a game where it's open world, you fight in and around the crime syndicates, this, that, and the other, that's something I've genuinely wanted for like 10 years now. So naturally I am very excited, because I know teenage me would be really excited for this game. So that is ultimately the biggest reason. Now, other comments that I've seen on my videos have been saying that the game looks absolutely terrible from a visual perspective, which I also do find very bizarre. We actually recently just got a planets trailer basically showcasing what some of the planets look like, and the game looks absolutely fantastic in that trailer. So this whole gamer expectation of visuals being completely groundbreaking and new and all this other stuff, I do find a bit strange. Now, I appreciate that there was one piece of gameplay that Ubisoft put out, or it might have gone out through IGN, where in all fairness the game visually did look a little bit janky and not particularly great from a visual perspective. Now, I appreciate that that version of the game being released publicly in that manner isn't going to necessarily shed the best light on the game, especially when it's a couple of months away from launch and it looks a little bit like that. But to say it was like PS3 or 2012 graphics is really bizarre. It's obviously not the case. And my response to that is simply that this is preview footage, it's not representative of the final game, and you should always bear that in mind when watching this kind of content. But if you're watching that and it does put you off, then fair enough, because at that point I would very much recommend just waiting until the game's released so you actually get to see a final build of the game on a live stage, maybe just by watching people's streams or gameplay walkthroughs or whatever, because if at that point it's still not very good for you, then you can obviously skip out on it. And that is absolutely fine. I think that's a smart decision to make if you are genuinely worried about that sort of stuff. But to then go and comment on videos like mine, or to give stick to other people because they're excited for this game, really is childish and pathetic behaviour. If you can't fathom that other people are actually excited for this game for a very large number of reasons, then I really think you do just need to go and talk to someone and get some help, because everyone has an opinion, everyone's allowed to have an opinion, and if your opinion is that the game looks bad and you're not excited for it and stuff, that is absolutely fine. I'm more than happy to have a good conversation and debate about that. But the minute you start basically attacking other people because they're excited for it, that's where I draw the line, to be honest. Even if it's a simple, no, you shouldn't be excited for this, that's essentially trying to pressure your opinion on someone else, which I just do not agree with. And also, there are many reasons to be excited for this game. As I said last week in my video, the wanted system, the fact that it's open world, the crime syndicate reputation system are all 3 things that I'm really looking forward to playing around with. From a visual perspective, yes, on the pre-release material it hasn't necessarily been the best at times, but for the most part it does look good visually, and I've spoken to people who have played this game already and they said the visuals were absolutely fine, so that's personally something I'm not worried about too much. And I think a lot of it does also just come down to how much knowledge people actually have on the subject matter of making video games, because 95% of people who play games or make YouTube videos and this and that just don't really have an understanding of how things work, which I absolutely don't expect. It's a really big rabbit hole that you can find yourself going down. Each discipline in gaming is vast, so I would never expect everyone to know about it. But I personally have been studying games for 5 years now, and I've been working in the games industry for just over a year as well, so I'd say I have a decent bit of knowledge on the subject matter, and because my opinion is then formed with more knowledge than a lot of other people, I tend to be less critical because I'm a bit more understanding understanding of where things are at and why things look the way they do. Now, I'm absolutely no expert, and I would never claim to be. I'm very much just starting my journey in the industry. But because I've had that exposure to the industry already, I've worked with people in the industry, I've had many conversations about it as well. My opinions can often be more formulated around that, whereas other people's can't, so I totally appreciate that. But I think the moral of the story, honestly, is just to think a little bit more before you speak. Even if you start typing something out, just think about it before you send it, because saying, oh, did Ubisoft pay you to say that? Or just saying, oh, you're a shill and this and that, it's just, like I said before, it's kind of childish and a bit pathetic, to be honest. And if I was ever to get paid by Ubisoft to say something, legally I would have to say that a video includes paid promotion. So if you see that on anyone else's video, that means that they have been paid. Now, that doesn't mean that they have their opinions skewed or anything like that, because people get paid and sponsored to say things in an honest manner, and that is always how it should be. And look, if the game comes out next week like it does, and it's really janky gameplay, the visuals aren't the best, and all these other things, then I will absolutely make a video and call it all out, because it simply just shouldn't be the case. But if it plays absolutely fine, I will also talk about that as well. I will be giving a video on my first impressions of the game. I have other content planned for the game as well, so make sure you do stay tuned to all of that. But that is it from me today. Hopefully you found this video somewhat helpful in some way. I don't really know. It was a bit more of a rant than anything else. But that is it from me today. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the force be with you always.